Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.
The Werewolf Tribe cometh, Part 2. Hopefully you listened to the Werewolf Tribe cometh Part 1, because that'd probably help with this. Also, in the description below are a number of links to a number of things. If you'd like to join the Facebook group, you can come and chat with us there. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I'm also there. If you'd like to buy a book for maybe the first 30 podcasts, that's also there. And it only costs 77 pence on Kindle. I can't make it any cheaper, I'm afraid. I don't get any money at all from that. But if you would like to give me money, you could follow the support the show link and buy me a coffee. That would be lovely. Thanks to those that already have. I love you very deeply. Thank you very much. Anyway, back to Part 2. He never met me in the bar at the hotel. If you don't know what I mean, or who I mean, then you need to listen to the first part of this series. I mean, it was a bit of a letdown. I thought it could do with a great night out. He seemed a bit too serious and could have done with a good time. I had a few drinks with Fen down in the bar though, and we had a chat. Fen's my wolf soul. He's been my best friend since childhood. He is my friend and teacher and can combine with me to form the werewolf or the wolf in the physical world. I mean, he's invisible and ghost-like to others, but to me, he is everything. Well, he loves Iron Maiden. So as a treat, when down in London, we had chosen to stay at the Sanctum Hotel because the band owns it. Yeah, how cool's that? I find it a little bit challenging to enjoy Iron Maiden as much as he does, but he has me to put up with, so I like to try and make him as happy as possible. We've seen the band live a few times. He enjoys that the most. We even stalked certain band members once or twice, but never with an end to killing them. That would really piss him off. I have to say I'm more of a Motorhead fan. And we have our song. Yeah, I know it sounds weird that we have a song, but the Trooper cover by Motorhead can get us both psyched up.
Take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but I'll run you through. So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand, there's no turning back.
It is on our pre-leading playlist on Spotify. It gets us very excited and the blood flowing before we do the murdering that we love and stuff. Anyways, back to the story. We're getting ready for the night out. We're heading to Thursday night at Heaven. You would love or hate Heaven. If you don't know what Heaven is, imagine the campest, craziest, gayestest, nightestest that you can imagine, then times it by 100 and add gay glitter. Lots of gay glitter. Why do I like the gayest of nights? It's pretty easy, to be honest. It is doubtful that I will meet anyone who will make me flip out and get angry. You may have realised that I have one of the most enormous egos the world has ever seen, and it reacts badly to those who try to alpha dog me. I sometimes like to go for a good night out amongst my prey. I want to dance and see where it goes. There is always that overriding air of violence in pubs and clubs where the straight men drink. I'm not saying I mind that, but I have to be in the mood for it. The thing that I can do that humans cannot is that I can always go one step further than they can. Men can always get in my face, but every time they push to the next step of conflict, I will take that push and then I will push back harder. It is like a poker game where I have all the money in the world and have the best hand available. I have a royal flush before the cards are even dealt. Oh, and even if you have a royal flush, it will not be as good as my royal flush. I'm afraid my capability of violence is so high that no one apart from the government has ever really taken me down. Oh, and my royal flush outdid them in the end. I bluffed that I cared. The stories are out there. go listen to the podcasts. So this night is about fun, and as I am a greedy bastard, I don't mind if my sexual partners are controlled by joystick, sensitive push buttons, or any mixture of the above. I am in the mood to dance and fuck, not fight, but things can change very quickly. Heaven is in Charing Cross in London, and I highly recommend it. Every time I go to the capital, Fen and I will visit this crazy place. It is full of the young and dumb, and they're always full of... Yeah, I know, cum rhymes. And he's always full of fun for a werewolf and his best friend. As you walk in, you're met by neon lights in a brickwork Leviathan with people dressed in their finest and campest. Even the bouncers are not scary, and they treat you like humans. Shame. Also, this is partying the only way the mainly gay community can. They know how to party properly. I also like the fact that it is one of the least threatening places full of people in the world. Let me give you an example. I was walking across the dance floor with 2 drinks. A silver-painted, half-naked man with wings bumps into me and spills my drink. Does it end in a fight? No, it ends with the silver-painted fairy apologising prolifically and offering to buy you replacements and give you a blowjob for your time. See, how often does that happen in a straight man's pub? That would probably have ended in a fight and a death. I do sadly miss the past nights of GAY, though. When it used to be in the big theatre, when the vast fat tranny with her wee dog sat at the door and decided if you were looking gay enough to enter, those days have gone. In this day and age, anyone can get away with looking gay and being accepted as one. Bit sad, really. It was porn star night on Thursday, and the place was going off. Drag queens and strippers were everywhere, and it was just a sight to behold. I love the hedonism of these nights. Fun only for the sake of having fun. Madness without a worry of it ending. What happens, happens, and in that moment, no one cares. I won't go into too many details, because I'm sure you'd find it either boring or sexually thrilling, but I had fun. I met some wonderful people. I had public sex with a lovely young lady named Beth, I think, and I got a number for definitely not phoning her the next day. I had my fun and now wanted to go out onto the streets and feed. I needed food and was going to find something small and sweet to eat on the streets of London. I stepped from the doors, saying good night to the bouncers, and smiled at my posse as he sauntered along next to me. This was a good night. The fun was had, and the fun would be had. I sobered myself up and sniffed the air. London has a stink like no other place on the planet. This close to the river, it smells of musty water and coolness. The Thames is a very clean river now. I mean, you shouldn't drink the water raw, but it is now healthier than it has ever been. Embankment Gardens were just around the corner, and some food would be wandering its drunken ass way through that spot tonight. I would feed and then head back to the hotel, probably pick up maybe a prostitute or 2 for the night, and supper. It all depended on whether Fen would be too offended to kill in his hero's hotel. I'm sure he doesn't care, so we'll see. A werewolf in London is totally trope, but I love to be that werewolf. I was not thinking of the other werewolf in London. I really should have been. I was on my way down Watergate when we heard it. A howl broke out onto the night air and brought silence to the world for a moment. It was so out of context in the city that it ripped into my head and shocked me to a stumbling halt as Fen and I listened hard into the darkness of the night. We stood, scanning the night for more. I could smell nothing or see anything around me. It seemed ages after the first, but then another howl lit the night. It was a different howl, deeper, louder, definitely another wolf, a different wolf. The original howler joined it in combination, making the hackles on the back of my neck rise. Oh shit, said Fen in my head. That doesn't sound too great. They sound like they came from the direction of the river. We both turned that way, focusing on meeting anything coming from that way. Then another wolf told us it was present. This announcement came from behind us. It sounded quite close and was joined by another and another. Then the original two joined in. There were at least 6 voices in the air that night. At least 6 wolves were here and shit coming for me. Ah, shit, said Fen. That means they are hunting us tonight, Will. If we hear 6, there'll be at least double that number. We're in deep doo-doo. I looked at him with a deep and serious face, but then laughed. Did you just say deep doo-doo? Did you just say deep doo-doo, Fen? He nodded at me, slightly embarrassed, but knowing I meant it in a, funny manner. He looked at me and I could feel his mind alter as he realised I wasn't frightened or worried about the surprise. You're a proper fucking psycho. What's the plan? And he laughed. I shrugged my shoulders and looked around as though in deep thought. I think that we find them and then we have a fight, I said. You're a fucking lunatic, he laughed. There are at least 6 of them out there and they're hunting you. They're encircling you now and trapping you like the wolf pack and then they're going to take you down. Well, I have the best idea then. Let's find one of them first. They have surrounded me and are closing the circle. Let's break the circle before it closes. Let's pick a howl at random, find it and fuck it up. He laughed. You're fucking nuts. We listened again. There was a howl close to us. It was in the gardens, and these wolves, knowing my usual mindset, probably knew that I would run into trouble, not away from it. They knew that I would run into the battle. So it was a trap, but sometimes, you know what I'm like. Sometimes the best way out of a trap is to go into it really hard. As I entered Embankment Gardens, I absorbed my posit and ran with my new senses in my werewolf form straight for the creature that was howling. I covered the grass quickly and knew I would hit this animal as hard as I possibly could, as quick as I possibly could. It was standing in were form, quite near Cleo's needle, and was waiting for me. I could sense other wolves near me in the shadows, but I was accelerating and making for the one posturing in front of me. It was large and grey, its eyes glowed red. It dropped its jaw and protected its own throat. It lifted and spread its arms wide to make itself look larger than it was. This posturing was all bullshit for me. You can do all that shit. I would of course ignore it and just smash. No posturing or name calling for me. I had one aim, and that was to kill this cunt as quick as I could. I kept running, and it wasn't ready. I hit it at full pace even though it tried to leap out of the way at the last second. My charge struck it full in the chest with a smashing blow, and it flew across the grass to where I landed with both feet on its chest, breaking ribs and tearing flesh before raising my right foot and stamping into its head repeatedly. I was ignoring the charging wolves coming at me from either side. They thought that I would react and stop smooshing their packmate. No, I had to ensure he was dead before moving on to the next kill. Otherwise, he would be back on his feet and trying to kill me again in a matter of moments. The downed wolf's head finally exploded with a final stomp. I joyfully felt the bones of the skull go, and there was a little pain as one of those sharp things entered my feet. In celebration of my kill, I let my howl free into the night. This was a worthy fight. Sadly, I was not paying attention at this moment, and I was taken to the ground by a giant flying wolf that wrapped its teeth around my shoulder, rending deeply into it. As he hit my upper body, another took my legs from underneath me, biting deep into my ankle as it shook and ripped it. My shoulder burned with pain, and I could not rise as I felt teeth break into my ankle and break it into small pieces. I struggled and screamed as I grabbed the back of the head of the wolf chewing on my upper body. It was trying to make its way up to my throat. I desperately held him off when the next wolf landed on my chest. It pinned me as it focused on my face. I knew it was the big man from the day before as he stood there. I felt other wolves come into the space. Each moved into holding me in place. Eventually, I couldn't move. He didn't change. He didn't gloat. He didn't brag. he didn't do the bad guy thing. He just tore into my throat. And
brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.